Hi, beautiful creative soul, and welcome back to another episode of Chakra-Care for the Creative Soul. I'm Pollyanna Blanco, and today we're diving into a very powerful truth that the new moon in Taurus is whispering to us. It's all about the art of recognizing when you need to rest. Hand on heart, deep breath in and out. In a world that celebrates constant hustle, rest is often seen as weakness. But for lightworkers, empaths, and creatives, rest isn't a luxury. It's actually a sacred act of coherence. So today we're going to explore how to listen to your field and honor your rhythm. Let's unpack what's happening right now with the new moon in Taurus and how it relates to this topic of rest. The new moon in Taurus invites us to ground, stabilize, and plant our intentions. And it's also a reminder that true growth happens in the pause. For years, I was on a hamster wheel. For years, I was rushing around, and I still have to be really mindful of that. Because when we're living in go mode, it can feel impossible to stop. Here's the rub. That's just the mind's insistence. And it keeps us from our greatest inner resource, which is heart-brain coherence. And I'm going to unpack that today. More and more people are talking about coherence, and it's so key. It's the secret sauce. Let's just back up for a second and consider that, Taurus energy, and I am a fellow Taurian, Taurus energy values stability, often through routine. And for many of us, that routine is constant service, constant giving. But what if stability could come from stillness, from coming home to yourself? This has been something I've been working on my whole life, and it's why I am a sacred self-care coach, because I have had 50 first dates over and over again with discerning when I need to rest and find that inner balance. And it's a dance. It's not a static state of balance. It's a dynamic state of balance that fluctuates because we don't stop living our lives. And yet we have to find that balance between taking care of ourselves on the inside as well as pouring into others and the greater good in the world. So if you're a light worker, I know this comes naturally to you. I know it's your default mode. And I've been a classroom teacher for 29 years. The part I love best about the job is caring for the socio-emotional well-being of my students. I deeply care about that. And it's extended into working with coaching clients too. So this is where, right now, yesterday in the wake of these beautiful Taurus energies in this new moon, it's important that even if just for a few moments today, you acknowledge that you need to rest. So let's take a breath together now. Just hand on heart, deep breath in and out. Let it a sigh. Notice how good it feels just to do something as simple as that. Next, what I want to move into is if you're new to Heart-Brain Coherence, if it's something you're just starting to learn about, I'm going to explain it in a nutshell in a really simple way. It's when your heart and brain no longer operate separately. They harmonize as one super system. And this is something that isn't woo-woo fluffy bunny. It's scientifically measurable at 0.1 hertz. That's the same oscillation cycle as ocean waves. So if you love going to the beach in the summer, if you love being in water and just standing in the waves, there's a reason for it. And so this isn't just spiritual, it's physiological. And when you're coherent, you get a lot of benefits, right? You get lower cortisol, less stress, activated parasympathetic nervous system happening with healing and growth being supported in your body. When we're in that parasympathetic nervous system response, this is where your body can literally restore itself on a cellular level. You also have more emotional stability. And most importantly for us as creative souls is super learning, super focus, and super creativity, right? When our energy is diffused and we are scattered, we tend to be ungrounded. And then oftentimes the default, at least in my own journey, has been to connect with the divine. And that's beautiful. And at the same time, we also need to be embodied. It used to be like, up and away, beam me up, Scotty, right? And so it's that needing to have that grounded connection. It's the same way with an electrical outlet. You want to have a grounded connection so that there isn't a fuse that's blown or a short circuit. Same thing for your system, because you're also an electrical being. So coherence isn't just about an activation. It's also about restoration. It's that balance between being connected, activated, and grounded, restored. And rest is that gateway. It's the gateway to coherence. And without it, your system fragments and your light dims. We're electrical beings, and it really matters. Your rest is important. Lately I've been playing with the concept in my own life of inviting myself to really make a date with rest. Just the same way, you plan to wash the car or, exercise or do groceries. I plan for that now more and more. It's a work in progress. I'm not saying I've mastered it. It's in I don't want to say on the to-do list, because I've let go of that, although it's my tendency to want to say that. What I will say though is it's on the radar screen. That's what I want to say. It's on the radar screen. And I notice when I do that, what it also gives me is a recognition of permission to acknowledge it as important as buying food. And it goes beyond just saying I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep and scheduling my bedtime and the time I wake up. It's more about understanding that rest is so much more than sleeping. And that, stay tuned, that'll be another show. So really important. Now we're moving into 5 overlooked signs that as a light worker, you need to rest, because this has been, a sticking point for me in my own journey. And I feel like it is for so many beautiful light workers, because we're passionate about making this world a better place. We've got big hearts and big dreams. So as a light worker, an empath, a creative, it's easy for us to be attuned to others in a way that we might miss the signals from our own field. So, you ready for it? Here are 5 overlooked signs that your soul is whispering for rest. Got to pay attention, right? Number 1, sudden sensitivity to noise or crowds. If your nervous system is overstimulated, this isn't weakness, it's your field saying, I need space. Honor it. Sign number 2, loss of symbolic depth. If your dreams feel flat, your meditations lack insight, or your creative ideas stop flowing, your symbolic field is exhausted. Rest will recharge your access to archetypes and metaphor, and just that feeling of that vibrancy that comes with feeling connected and online with the divine. Sign number 3, irritability or impatience with spiritual concepts. I've been there, bought that t-shirt. If teachings that once resonated now annoy you, or you feel cynical about your path, it's not a crisis of faith, it's a crisis of rest. I love that. I'm going to say that again. It's not a crisis of faith, it's a crisis of rest. Your field is too tired to hold the nuance. Sign number 4, repetitive thoughts or obsessive planning. An overactive mind trying to solve everything is often a sign of nervous system dysregulation. And rest allows your field to integrate, not just analyze. So important. That one's a big one. Obsessive overplanning can become, I'm going to even dare say, mildly addictive, where if we're not running to the next thing that we need to do, we're feeling uncomfortable because that's when we notice the dysregulation, so it becomes our coping mechanism. Big one to watch out for. And sign number 5, last one, really important, physical aches with no clear cause. Unexplained tension in the jaw, shoulders, or hips often signals stored emotional load and energetic fatigue. Your body is literally asking you to pause and release. This might be through some gentle movement, going for a walk in nature, stretching even, or simply just noticing that you've been sitting in the same position. Maybe you're at your laptop, maybe you're doing some sort of repetitive motion, and because you're so hyper focused on it, you haven't even noticed that you haven't moved from that position in a while. I want to, hand on heart, reassure you, these aren't failures. They're sacred signals. Your field is speaking. The key thing is, are you listening? When you know what to listen for, that can really help. So with this new moon, there's also something really special about it that I just want to toss into today's show before we wrap up. And it's that this new moon also has marked the beginning of a new 8-year cycle with Uranus and Gemini. Oh my goodness, I'm not speaking properly today. Uranus and Gemini. Try that again. Again, the energy is flowing. It comes through more quickly than my physical words can keep up with. This happens a lot to me lately. I'm feeling all of you right now. So I'm going to say this again. This new moon is special. It marks a new 8-year cycle with Uranus and Gemini. It's shifting our focus from financial stability to thoughts, communication, and relationships. And 2026 is also numerologically a year 1. If you add up the 2, and the 6, and we've got the infinite in there, which is the 0, which is going into the void and coming out of the void, which is so beautiful. And the ascended numerology that I've studied, we include the 0. And that's really powerful because there is that void. So if you are finding in this year 1 that there's a really big need for rest, that is the void. And going into the void and just being with whatever shows up for you in the void will actually be the medicine that allows you to get all your ducks in a row. Like I said, we can get so attached without realizing it to the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, the shoulds, the have-tos, and the internal pressures that we place on ourselves. And the key is to take a leap of faith into the void, whatever that is like, looks like for you, and to trust yourself and to trust it to reveal to you what you most need to know through giving yourself time to unplug, disengage from all the stimulation out there and even in here so that you can reset. Because when your heart and brain fire together, you have a unified, multidimensional system. All parts of you, thoughts, emotions, body, soul, spirit, are equally valued. And now that's divine wealth. It begins with rest. What I love about all of this is a miracle isn't something that you look for out there. It's literally an inner shift in perspective from limitation to possibility through gratitude and soul. And I like to think about soul as source of unconditional love. And the person who inspired that is a writer who talks about the gratitude effect, Dr. DeMartini, and he talks about spirit of unconditional love, but I like source of unconditional love. So I want to give him street cred for influencing me and inspiring me to say that. Here's the rub though. The miracle is in you through a shift in perception from limitation to possibility. And what I found on my own journey is that we become blind to our own limitations. They become normalized as just the way the world is, or the story we have about ourselves, or other things in the world that we experience. They're often attached to past experiences and projections of not so great outcomes in the future based on negative past experiences. And they can be so nuanced that even if we feel that we fully let them go, there may be residues. And so to move from limitation to possibility, it's essential that we remember that intentions set from thought alone won't fully root. They need the coherence. And that coherence comes in through the gratitude and through allowing that soul presence to be here now, fully welcomed into our space, into our sacred space. And when that coherence is experienced and embodied, it's not just up here floating around in the ethers of our mind, it's literally embodied. In order to have the completion of that cycle, it requires rest, because rest allows also for integration. You know, in our fast-paced world where we consume a lot of information, we consume a lot of all kinds of things, we've kind of bought into this idea that faster is better, even on a subconscious level. And we can feel squirrely when things move too slowly, when we have to wait in line, when things don't happen as quickly as we expect them to, even when our computer drags and slags. So the rest is really key, because it's in a space where we can receive time for all that we have just called in to resort and settle itself and really anchor in. And that's when the shift can happen from that limitation to possibility, because we feel different. And the reason we feel different is because we've literally activated a super system between a communication between our heart and our brain. And when our heart and our brain start becoming coherent and literally working together, it's not a competition between, do I follow my heart or do I follow my head? They've synced up. Then all of the other systems on a physiological level are able to work optimally. And then when this vehicle, this beautiful physical vehicle that we're in, our temple, our body temple, is humming and aligned, then we're at a different frequency that supports the emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being too. So before you set your next intention in the wake of the new moon, and if you've already set some intentions, maybe play with this as well too. Or even if you're just in need of a moment of peace, I invite you right now to try a simple new moon creative coherence practice with me. So it's very simple. Place your hands on your heart center and just begin to breathe in and out from your heart. Just allowing your breath to be natural. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale for a count of 4 and allow the exhalation to be slightly longer for a count of 6. And we're going to repeat this together 3 times. If you want, you can gently close your eyes or lower your gaze so that way you bring your attention inward. So let's begin now. Hand on heart, feeling the warmth of your hand on your heart and the warmth of your heart on your hands. Breathing in for a count of 4. And exhaling for a count of 6. Repeating again, inhaling and exhaling. And one last time, inhaling for a count of 4. And exhaling for a count of 6. And now in the next inhalation, in that same rhythmic pattern, I'm going to invite you in your heart center to focus on something or someone you feel grateful for. Not just thinking about it, actually inviting that feeling into your presence. And we're going to begin that now. Breathing in. And exhaling. Really feeling that gratitude filling your heart center, welcoming it in. We're going to continue that 2 more times, just holding that feeling of gratitude. You might see images in your mind's eye, along with the sensation, the feeling of gratitude. Allow it to pour into every cell in your being. Breathing in. And exhaling. And one last time, breathing in gratitude. And exhaling. And I was breathing in so much gratitude for any of you that have chosen to be here today and just drink in this moment, experience this moment together with me, either live or on the replay. And when you're ready to, gently begin to open your eyes and just notice how you feel. The inner spaces we nourish become where we choose to live from and where we choose to create from. And this power to consciously choose is your superpower. And when you choose rest, you can really choose to tap into your divine creativity. And if you enjoyed this moment we just shared together, I'm going to just share another way that you can deepen this practice for yourself and integrate more coherence into your daily life, more rest, more peace, more creative flow. I have something special for you, and I'm just going to share my 90-minute coherence reset, which is a low-ticket lead offering designed to guide you through a 90-minute embodied sacred self-care experience to activate your heart-brain coherence and unlock your creative potential through rest and alignment so that you can receive crystal clear clarity on your inner creative journey. It's your chance to release resistance, embrace flow, and plant intentions that will truly root. You can find the link to join the 90-minute coherence reset in the description below, and I'm just going to share a little trailer with you. So here we go. If you love this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the Chakra-Care for the Creative Soul, and share it with a friend who needs to slow down and sync up. Until the next time, keep shining your light super bright, and most importantly, remember to rest. You deserve it. It's been an honor and a blessing to share this time with you. Beautiful creative soul, be well.